Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. So today I like to share with you on how to get the most out of the 修炼套 training, or how to make the 修炼套 training most effective and get good result. Because as we know that 修炼套 is the core of Wing Chun. Okay. So what I'd like to share with you today is based on the 1850s Wing Chun in the right boat, which is supported by the Chinese culture and accord to the Chinese culture. Okay, so I'm going to share with you with today's language on what it is. So it is not about which lineage or which style. It is about, this is the component within the 修炼套 by 1850s, and it is Chinese culture. Okay, so we all know what it is, and disregard of what lineage you are in, if you develop or you train your 修炼套 with these components and this holistic view of the red boat era based on the Chinese culture, then of course you are going to get the most out of it, and then you're going to be effective. Now, the reason or the inspirations I am making this video today is because there's a Sifu from Europe who contacted me asking me for my opinion on how he liked to add, like usual internal Taiji, mind power, Qi, Fajing stuff into his 修炼套, so that he want to improve it and make the best for it and so forth. So after some discussions with this Sifu from Europe, I decide to do this video, an education video, so that so everybody know what is going on here on. Okay. Now let's start with one thing. You said, well, 修炼套 is the core of Wing Chun, the basic of Wing Chun. Now let's answer one question, which is many people have asking me. Okay, and that question is, will your thing works under pressure? Work under pressure. Okay, so many times people will ask me, send me a message or asking me in forums so forth, wow, will your thing, your training work under pressure? Let's start with this to get into the 修炼套 development, because it is very, very critical that the 修炼套 development has to answer to these questions of, can the thing one train or one develop work under pressure. Okay, if the 修炼套 do nothing, contribute to nothing on the work under pressure, why do we want to waste time for that? We want to keep just doing something, expect that or thinking someday something will happen, some magic will happen. Well, it's not realistic, right? So let's get to the core. Okay, will the 修炼套 training work under pressure? Will it contribute to something when it need to work under pressure? So let's look into the work under pressure. So what is this work under pressure? Well, we can actually really define it clearly. Okay, because martial art fighting is a science. It is not some magic or some kinds of undefinable stuff. Because if it's undefinable, it cannot be repeated. Well, what good is those stuff? Okay, this just becomes some kind of argument or something. So, work under pressure. Okay, work under pressure. There are three things there. Okay, for this pressure stuff. So pressure. So what does that mean? Well, the first thing this pressure usually mean is, will one be able to take the challenge of different momentum type? So the challenge. Okay. So pressure mean, will one be able, when one face the challenge of different momentum type, what can one do? So what is this? Okay, for example, it's like this. If you train Western boxing and suddenly your opponent is a judoka, get close and throw, or a wrestler, well, now you're facing a challenge of a different momentum type. Okay? Well, the judo guy good at the sticking body, short strike type of momentum, while the Western boxing is long range strike and so forth. Now you face a challenge there. Okay, well, you can look at that as pressure, because now you suddenly faced with something which is you never see before, you don't know how to deal with it. So there's the momentum. That's the first thing. Okay, so number one thing is, do one know about momentum? Do one know about different type of momentum, and how is one style handle this different type of momentum if it show up, or be able to face it? It doesn't mean that one will win, but at least one know how to deal with it. Okay, so that's one pressure. Now the second pressure is stress, mental stress. Okay, the mental, the mindsets get into fear, nervous, anxious, anxiety. Okay, that is the stress, the mind. Now, will one be able to handle that? Okay, and usually this stress mind related to what? Breathing. When people start to do sparring, right away they feel they suffocate, they cannot breathe proper, and they breathe very forcefully. Okay, so this is the second type of pressure. This is the mind, and the breathing is trained or not trained to handle that situations. Okay, do one be able to train to get out of one anxious mind or anxiety? Do one be able to switch mode to do different type of breathing, or just like the entire chaotic situation take over? Well, there's pressure, right? The third thing of pressure is, can the body do the job, or the body is out of control? It's like one get rigid, freeze, stuck there. Okay, so this is the three things when one want to go into the fighting. Right away one face that if one is not properly trained. Okay, now I still remember when I was in the Kyokushin, when I was age of 15s, 14s. Well, I never get into this. Why? Because my instructor is beating me up, training me on the momentum, round kick, turn kick, and all X kick and everything. And then you have this ibuki and all those kind of training for the breathing and so forth. Okay, and the body is keeping drilling in Kyokushin. And then sparring become what? Sparring, you know, the KO non-guarded sparring become what? Become a fun stuff like testing. Oh, I like to test this technique today. Well, this kick works. It become like that. The mentality is, I'm gonna test this thing. Okay. Well, I still remember that at first Kyokushin have with this lower round kick. Okay, sweeping both sides and get into in the middle side. The middle door, and then it evolved into the X kick. It come in, and then it evolved into the wheel kick. So people is testing that. Oh, can I do this? Can I do this? So it's sparring become fun. Because the bottom line is now who win, who lost. It's just testing the momentum type. Okay? And then of course the instructor might get a very strict but really respectable instructor. Jo Chin Tat Chin in Penang, Malaysia. Is always slap me if my hand is not putting up here to guard my head. Okay, so that's what I go through. Okay, now. So under pressure now become a fun of testing the skill. Okay. So let's look into this. Okay, these three things. Okay, in the sparring training. Okay. Now, one thing what I like to share too, like this momentum. Well, always the key is the first zap in momentum. Can one be able to take that? That's when my Kyokushin instructor taught me, trained me. The first impact, you go in, you rush, he rush in, you rush in. Can you take the momentum? You're not sitting down there or standing there try to take people's or block people's kicks. No, if he go in, you go in. Okay, that's how we were trained. Okay, so there's momentum and so forth. So, well, you know, fighting and will the thing work under pressure? Well, if you look at the case which is I go through in my experience trained by my instructor in Kyokushin, it is actually predictable, scientific, repeatable training there. Okay, to develop the skill of facing what we call the so-called pressure. Okay, and you want to turn the pressure into a play. Okay, now, so we go further because we want to go into the shielding Tao. Okay, so we want to look into a world, to understand this world, the Chinese cultural world. Okay, this 1850s, what is going on there? Okay, and we want to look at it and explain it with today's language. Okay, so if one wants to be able to handle the pressure, one need to what? One need to be able to handle the momentum, the mental stress, the breathing, and the physical. One need to train with it. Now the question is, does shielding Tao do the job? Okay, now, according to 1850s writing of shielding Tao, yes, it does do the job. However, one need to understand this basic, which I'm going to share with you. So, this is the human world. Okay, so this is the human world, our world. Okay, our world for fighting. This world have two parts. This is the intellect world. This is the nature world. Okay? So this is the intellect world, this is natural world. So this is the world, the intellect world is the world of intention, control, okay? And then this is the world of, in today's language, the sympathetic nervous systems, where there is fight or flight, okay? Okay? And this is a discharging world, because you use a lot of energy to control all kinds of stuff. Okay? Now, this natural world is a world of allow things to happen. You allow sun to rise in the morning and sing at night. You cannot do nothing with it. Okay, you have to allow that. And this is the world of balance. This is a sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. So it be able to regulate, so it be able to calm down as it needs, or it can speed up as it needs. Okay. While this one, the intellect world just want to speed. Okay. And I just want to do it my way. Okay. This is my way. Do it my way. This world is about allow the nature take the course. Okay. So in this nature world, it is a charging world. The energy charging world. It's just like you calm, very calm, you sit down there, you meditate, you go to sleep, you charge. Okay? So 1850 or before that, the Chinese is living in this world. Okay? In this world. Now, so at the time of the design of the Xiulin Tao or the Chinese martial arts in the ancient, it always take into considerations of both. Okay? Now, let's map momentum, breathing, and so forth into these two worlds. Okay? And see what is going on. Okay? Because if we live only this world, the intellect world, we control this and control that and do this and that, and we're missing out the understanding of knowing the exist of the natural world, then there's disaster. There's one term they call brute force. Brute force is missing out the natural world. When you heard about people talk about flow, the flow, you mean that when it talk about the term flow in martial art, in so forth, that means it has to be natural world. It is not control using their mind. It just let it flow. Allow it to flow. Follow the nature of the flow. Okay? So this one, intellect world, is also called intentionally regulate world. And this world is natural resonance world. So for example, like the pendulum, right? The pendulum like this. If this is a pendulum, it just let it swing. Okay? While the intentionally regulating world, it will be using this hand to try to manipulate how this thing to swing, move. Okay? Intellect, the intentionally regulating world is try to dictate using this hand, manipulate intentionally how this thing should move. While in the natural resonant world, it's just like you just drop it, let it go. Okay, it swing by itself. So this is flow. There's no way this is going to flow. Okay, so in martial art, when you talk about flow, you know right away it is be able to get into this natural world. Okay. So one need to train in both, be able to get back and forth in these two worlds. Otherwise, it is a disaster. Okay. Now, so let's look into the momentum, like map into these two worlds. Okay. So you have the intellect world and you have the natural world. Now let's look at momentum. Momentum. Okay. Say we want to push something. We have a direction. We give it direction, push something into a certain direction. Well, that is in the intellect intentional world. I'm intentionally pulls this thing to that direction. Now, there is something called inertial. Inertial of the momentum. Newton's law, right? You try to push something, but the inertial is resisting you to push it out. And while if the thing is object is moving, and you try to change directions, then the object is having a inertial momentum which is not going your way. Okay, you cannot change it instantaneously. That is belongs to the natural. The natural world part of the momentum. Okay. So, say using the Kyokushin training, right? Well, I want to do a low round kick sweep, right? So I sweep, but the opponent go the other hand. Escape go to the other way. Well, can I go back right away to do another sweep? Well, I have an inertia here because my body go this way already. He go the other way. Well, might as well I do a hook kick from here to complete the circle instead of I go back against my own inertia. Well, there's all the handling of the inertia. If I just do a round kick like that, if I do a round kick like that, and then he go that way, I want to go this way, well, I have to go against my inertia. But instead, if I go this way and I turn right away, and this is my right leg going down, and I use my left leg just turn around, do an X down. That is, I'm using this nature of inertia, natural world, the momentum, the natural world. So one need to know this both, instead of just sun punch, or just a round kick. I want the round kick. Well, without knowing this natural world, you need to know the inertia. Okay. So just put that the natural world and the intentional world, intellect world into this now. We map momentum into this two worlds, and you see what it is. You need to train both. Okay, otherwise we have no idea what it is. And of course over here you have you can have round kick, you can have sun punch, you can have throw, all kinds of momentum, which is one need to learn and familiar with. Without that, forget about it. So in Xiu Lim Tao, one need to know what type of momentum one is playing, both the intellect type and the natural phase or state of that momentum. Otherwise, how can one use it under pressure? You can't, right? Again, with the round kick example, if I go sweep it like that now, he's going to run that way. Why am I under pressure? I just go turn, X kick come down right away. Well, what pressure? But if I go like this and I have no idea about this inertial, and I'm keeping thinking, well, I'm going to go turn my body and come back, well, then there's a lot of pressure, because timing wise, momentum wise, I already in a disadvantage. If I go from the X kick, coming down like that, I just spin myself back and then get the X kick down. I'm making use of the momentum, the natural inertia. It's fun, it's no pressure. Well, will I win? Who knows? But at least, we know how to play, okay? Now, so there is momentum, and as we talk about momentum. The second is this mind stuff. This mind stuff. So again, this is intellect world, this is the natural world. Let's talk about mind. If you're keeping thinking about, Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao is mind power, intensity, intention, mind power, mindfulness, well, you're only here. This is intention. You're only here. Well, you need to know that there's a part here is called aware, or listening, or sensing. Okay? Sensing means I don't need to use any intention at all. So intention is just only half of the game. The other half of the game is be able to aware and sense and listen. Okay, then the Wing Chun say you need to listen to people's force. That's what it is. Okay, and now it get into modern. Intention is you always related to sympathetic nervous system. If it get into really strong intention, you get into tunnel visions and you get into the activate the sympathetic nervous system, and then you get into tunnel vision and you can freeze there. If you use too much intention, don't see nothing anymore. While in the awareness, the natural world here, your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system is in a balanced state. So it's calm, be calm. Oh, I want to listen to you. You want to go fast, I go fast. If you don't want to go fast, I just listen. Well, that is what be able to activate the sympathetic and or parasympathetic system at will. So now the question is, in your Xiu Lim Tao, do you just train your intention, total concentrations, or you have this part? Well, can this be measured today? Sure. You use the HRV, heart rate variability. You can measure either you activate your sympathetic nervous system for flight or fight, or the parasympathetic system where you can come down. You can use your heart rate variability derived to see that. Okay? So the question is, if you train your Xiu Lim Tao, is it holistic, or you just train all this intention and have no idea how to get here? And of course, if you cannot get here, you're always in the always in the sympathetic or fight or flight state. You always will get stressed. And guess what? When you get stressed, when you activate your sympathetic nervous system, what happened to your breathing? Your breathing gets stuck. Your breathing go faster and faster, because your sympathetic nervous system is linked to your breathing, your mind, your breathing. Okay, we can check with the HRV. Look at your breathing profile. Look at your heart profile. You can see, and then you look at your sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system activation profile. You can see that. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, so this is the mind and breathing. The second key is where I say how to deal with stress. When you are stressed, will you be able to switch into the parasympathetic nervous system's activation? How to do that? Well, did your Xiu Lim Tao do that? Well, according to ancient, the writing of 1850s, it does that. And that's why Wing Chun have this something called listening to your qi sao, qi listening, thinking, listen to the jing. Right? If you don't have the parasympathetic nervous system activate, how are you going to listen to the jing? You cannot listen to the jing, you cannot flow with it. Okay, so it is there. Now, let's talk about the third thing is the body. Same thing. This is intelligent world. This is the natural world. Now your physical body. Well, if you keep training here in a rigid way, tense up, push, and all kind of stuff, intentionally tense up, push, and strike, and so forth, then it is in the intellect world. Again, it is activating the sympathetic nervous system, flight and flight. Okay. As this part, you need to be able to lose it and use it very flexibly, like the pendulum swing. That's the physical body, so that you be able to flow. Now, if one is not trained for both, how is one supposed to handle under pressure? One can't. Okay? So what is the point to train the shooting top? So as this Sifu who contacted me, I asked him, well, you can put all the name of the Taiji, Xingyi, Bagua, Neijia, Zhanzhuang, Yiquan, everything. But if you do not satisfy this, I don't even know what are you training. Okay? You cannot just build up stuff, make up stuff using some names or some label. You need to know what it is there, because this is a design. This is a fighting art. Like I share with you my experience with Kyokushin. It is a fighting art designed for fighting. It is not up to anybody's creativity for doing who knows what. Okay? Now, so we know it, face it. If we don't train for it, we will not be able to handle it. Or challenge people asking, oh, is this thing can work under pressure or not? It's just some kind of ego fight sometimes. If you really train for it, you just look at the momentum, you look at the way how they handle their breathing, their mind, and their body. You know whether that thing can work under pressure or not. You know that the person is trained or not. Not necessarily the person will win, but you know. Is it in the ballpark or it is not? Okay? So, this is the intellect world. This is the natural world. Okay? You know that whatever you train the intellect world, you say, well, I want to use mind power, my yi, my intention, and so forth. It's not going to get you into the natural world, because they are different state. Whatever you do here, using your intention over here, this is using intention, this is to train, hey, drop your intention, completely drop it. Because only you drop it, you can get to the natural state. Okay? You need to drop your sympathetic nervous system activation in order to get into your parasympathetic nervous system. Otherwise, you cannot do it. If keeping intention, no, check it scientifically. So many people today, people talk about mindfulness, meditations, and all this kind of stuff. I say it doesn't make sense. The ancient didn't say that. You guys invent something, And then you think that that works, but in fact, it doesn't address the natural world. And how suppose it works? How it's supposed to flow? Okay. Can I intentionally adjust my spine to take force while I'm in a high speed, like in the Kyokushin Open or BJJ Open or MMA Open? Or I have to rely on this thing, which is I share with you already, like the Kyokushin round, low sweep right away come with the X kick. It is making use of this thing. Same with all this, the real fighting deal is here. You cannot do this. Say, well, I want to align my spine, or usually we say, well, we want to to raise the anus. How the world are you going to raise the anus at that time of the momentum change, the dynamic? So if you don't train for that, what good is your Xiu Tao is? So the key is be able to go back and forth. Intention and natural world, you can go back and forth, and this is where the 6 core elements come in. So meaning your physical body, your mind, your breathing, your qi, okay, or now I call it energy plus sympathetic and nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So qi right now I call it energy plus sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, okay, and then your force flow, Newton's law, action reaction force handling, and your momentum. So these 6 core elements. Can one switch back and forth in different state? Okay, so this is the intellect world, which is intentional regulating, and this is the natural world, which is natural resonance. Can one switch and train to switch that thing, that 6 core element? That is the key of the Kung Fu, which need to train in the Xiu Tao set per the standard of 1850. In fact, the Chinese have this. For thousands of years, they have this kind of thing. Okay? That's why what? If you look, read the Tao Te Ching, it says, Dao Fa Zhi Ran. Dao mimic natural. This is natural. It's not using your intellect to try to control the world. Well, this is no self. This is self. This is, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. This no self means I let it be. For example, I use a round kick, right round kick. He comes to my back. I step one side out. My using a left X kick down, spin X kick down. Well, I let him come. I allow him to come. It's okay. I just let the nature take care of it. Okay? So that's how it is. Now, so this is a big concept. Okay? It got nothing to do with lineage, style, or anything. If you are Chinese martial arts, that's what in there. Okay? So is the Xiu Tao working? The development can give you the best of training to use it under pressure. You don't wait until the sparring or fighting and you say, wow, I can test this under pressure. Well, there's a term in the Silicon Valley saying that you design that chips to pass the test. You don't test the chip to pass the test. You don't test the chip to pass the test. Meaning that when you design some product, you already know it's going to pass the test. You're not keeping testing it and then hope that you will pass the test. So when you go sparring or fighting, it is not about, oh, you know what, let's get gung-ho about this, let's go beat up somebody, or no, this working under pressure. No, you design that thing, you design that move, that training, so that you know it's going to pass that test. And then you just execute it and see how well it passed the test. Instead of get gung-ho, get brute force, and you go inside there, you beat up somebody, you say, well, this passed under the stress, this work under pressure. What is that? It's not effective at all. And in fact, one have no idea what it is if one doing that. Okay? Martial art is by design. Martial art is like the Kyokushin, the Muay Thai, the BJJ. Many things are designed. It's not until you face it and then you go down there, you say, oh yeah, no, I test it. Test under pressure. People already designed that thing. They just only want to know how good how good is they pass. They pass it grade A, pass it grade B, or pass it flying color. Okay? Otherwise, it is just ego talk. Like try to be macho, gung-ho. Yeah, I can beat you. My style pass under the test. Well, you examine it with the 6 core element in the natural world and the intellect world, you right away see. And that is how people break techniques. If one have a very good techniques and one analyze it with this, one will be able to find the timing and one will break that. That's a matter of breaking technology. Okay? The ancient Xin General Qi Guang do that. We today can do that too. However, if we do not know how to analyze this thing, we don't know what we play, how we play, forget about it. So it's like a Xulin Tao, keeping playing with it. So what are you doing? The one guy who practiced Xulin Tao in the red boat know all of this. And today we just keeping practice the same thing, mimic the same thing, or say, well, this grandmaster say this is from Taiji, this is from Neijia, I add this and add this Qi and Fa Jing. What do you get? Well, only if you do this, you meet other style, you'll be able to handle it. Even if you don't handle it, not be able to handle it, you know how to run, because you know, oh shit, I never saw this momentum before. I better don't engage. That's life, okay? Now, let me share with you a certain thing today in Xulin Tao, which is need to change, because it become a fragmented in partial stuff, okay? So again, we bring out our map here. This is the intellect world. This is the natural world. This is the intentional regulating. This is the natural resonance. Whenever one stand in the E.G. Ma, clamping structure and everything, you know right away is here. Intentionally, you're holding something for certain purpose. Not good or bad, you know it's belong to this intentional intellect world. You know it. In order to flow, you need to get here. You cannot afford to all this clamping, that, holding this for the force to go to the ground, all those kind of things. You cannot afford that if you want to flow, because in this world, it is about momentum flow. So in this world, this is your triangle, your structure, and so forth. In this world, you need to have your seven balls. So in this natural world, you need to have the 7 balls. Every ball is alive. you need this. Okay, and if you keeping training this structure, you are going to be in the intellect world or intentional regulating, but you cannot get here. So in these 7 balls, the dynamic, when you need to hold structure, you can always hold structure, but not the reverse. Okay? So the e.g. ma clamping this, clamping that, triangle shape, blah, blah, blah. Is that good? Okay, that's fine, no problem. But you know, you are here. In the real life, where it involves us in fighting, under pressure, you know every 7 of your 7 balls, you need to be able to dynamically change. Like a transformer, it be able to transform to different shape when it needed. Okay? So right away you know, if you practice Untitled with this structure and so forth, you know you're limited into this world. You are not seeing the entire thing. And thus you cannot flow. That's for sure. You can brute force it. Ignore the nature and brute force it. But it's not covering the whole thing. Okay? Now, so that's one thing. The second thing, you map it with the same thing, intellect world and natural world. If you're keeping using intention, okay, you're keeping using intention and using that structure, your intention is going to limit you into this intellect world, intentional regulating world, and it's not going to get to the natural world because it cannot let go. Allow, okay? And due to your structure, handling, and so forth, which is holding, your breathing is going to do whole. This is a forceful lower abs breathing, like people stand in the e.g. in the triangle type, and then try to breathe deep. That is a forceful lower abs breathing. While in the natural resonance states, one is just let it breathe deeply. And so this is a natural deep breathing. This is the forceful deep breathing. Okay, they're different. And then if you say, well, when I'm sparring, I feel forceful, blah, blah, blah. Well, because you never trained this before. How are you going to expect to get relaxed or have a deep breathing? You can. And if you're keeping training that structure, you're keeping training whatever in this intellect world, there's no way you can get whatever it is in the natural world. You cannot get it because you never trained that way. You don't know how to switch. Okay? And of course, when you go for this forceful breathing and always intention and so forth, strong intention, you're going to trigger your sympathetic nervous system. Flight and flight. And then getting more stress. You need to be able to be here where you can balance between your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so you can analyze it with this. Now, one last thing I want to share with you, which is people don't share this, but I want to share with you. So this is intentional, this is natural. The Wing Chun arm techniques, right, hand techniques, you can see people do this. Right away when people do this, you know what it is? You know there is intentionally regulating, intentionally control. Rigid. Okay, from here to here. Well, if you train that, you're not going to get here, which is resonance. This is this. which is the snakes. Okay? So if you train this, you're activating your 7 bolts. If you train this, you're holding onto something, trying to force something. There's a difference. Okay? Now, another thing is, I'm going to talk about the channel. The channel. In Tai Chi, they don't have this. In Bagua, in Xingyi, in whatever, they don't have this. Okay? Whatever the nature stuff, they don't have it. Shooting Tao have this. Okay? So, this is what we call Fok Sao, right? Fok Sao, right? Everybody know how to do Fok Sao, right? Now, Fok Sao is designed to transport the to have the flow of the heart channel and the pericardium channel and the lung channel to flow outward. When you go outside, when you exhale, it is going to flow this way. Okay, it's going to go this way. So this 3 channel, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this pericardium channel, which is linked to your heart, cardio. This is your heart channel linked to your heart, and this is linked to your lung. Okay. Now, that is a good design because it can help your circulations of your heart and your breathing. Okay. This is a very good design, okay? This according to the traditional Chinese medicines. Now, if you do this, keeping bend your knee like that, guess what? You're going to make this the chi flow of the heart meridians of the Sao Hai, okay? Which you guys have the Chinese medicines, okay? The HT3, okay, the Sao Hai, HT3. You get that stuck. When you get that stuck, your heart channel flow is going to be sluggish. You keeping doing this, keeping force it, tensing up your body, your hand, your elbow fixed like that, you use your mind, you are create stagnation there. This is not good for your health anymore. The second thing is, if you do Fok Sao this way, bend it this way, okay? Your pericardium flow, your lung flow, and your heart flow jam here at exhale. So all of this jam, okay, sluggish. So in the design of Xiu Lim Tao, it always say, let it be nature, follow the breathing and the channel flow. It means this Fok Sao cannot be like that. It has to be like that so that it doesn't jam this flow, okay? And this elbow, you cannot be keeping like that. You have to be flex it out so that the channel can flow. Okay, so this is the 4th core element, the chi core element, or the or today I call it the energy plus autonomic nervous system core element, which is chi element. So you have the physical body, mind, breathing, the chi element and chi element. Okay, so this is forceful element, this is a momentum element, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one is your energy plus your autonomic nervous system, which is the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So these 3 yin meridians, with your heart, your pericardial, and your lung. If you keeping doing this and keeping doing this, you actually jam up the chi element of the shooting time. Okay? So this is what I'd like to share with you today. And again, it is the basic education of what exists in the past in today's language. Okay? And any lineage of Wing Chun. You see this, you can adapt this into your lineage, into your training. Because this belongs to all Wing Chun lineage. It comes from the ancestor, it's Chinese culture. Make use of it. Instead of, oh, Tai Chi, Yi Quan, what are you doing? Does it address this thing? So if you train this, as we described until now, and you look back into the, can this work under pressure? Sure. Because it be able to switch back and forth. You know exactly what it is, the details one need to train and develop. Okay? So this is to share with you today. I know this is a long video, but it has to really clear this thing up for you. That's why I say I'm 60 years old already. If I die, hopefully somebody know this exists in Wing Chun. Okay, I don't want to bring this into my coffin because there's no point to know it, that it will not be able to benefit all Wing Chuners. And also, I am not grandmaster or anything. I'm just a researcher, and I report to you what it is there. Okay.